pH is, you will tell me in the comments what you think the pH is. For me, when I read it, so what I have done, I have sold 50 fish. If you can see the quantity of slugs that we have here, I just received it yesterday. So today we will do a pH test. So that's the first one here in this box. pH tests. I guess the water is always a bit acidic. Last video we added a bit of soda carbonate into the water. So in other words, it's baking powder. It probably tried to maintain the pH, but the quantity I added was very low. And the reason why I do that is because I never want to add too much. If I add too much carbonate sodium into the ponds, the issue I may have is that the pH increases too quickly, and I don't want to do that. It's not good for the fish. It's not good for the ecosystem, not good for the bacteria neither. So what I do, I add a bit and then I test my pH the next day, and so I know where I stand and I can add more. That's how I recommend to manage the pH, because the pH is logarithmic scale. So if you increase it too quickly, it makes a massive shock. So just to be clear, on the pH, let's look at this scale here. You see, here it's 7. Here, this color is 7, which is what we are aiming for. We can go a bit above that. But if you are on the yellow side, it's 6, right? From 6 to 7, the concentration of OH minus into the water, so the pH, is not moving from 6 to 7. The reality is that because it's a logarithmic scale, it's actually 10 times more acidic. 6 is 10 times more acidic than 7. So you understand, for the fish, if you move by 1 directly, it's a massive shock. And if you move by 2, so if you go from, let's say, 6 to 8, it's 100 times. The difference is 100 times. The difference of concentration of hydrogen into the water is 100 times. So, as you can imagine, it's not something we want, because it's a real shock for the fish. So we want to go slowly. If you have an aquaponics system at home, you may not know that, and you may have done, you may have raised your pH very quickly, and your fish probably survived. But they are not going to tell you, the fish, when they feel uncomfortable. And the trick with the fish is that they never tell us exactly what they feel, right? They can't talk, and they don't make any sound. So it's tricky for us to know what they feel. Well, I can tell you one thing, is that if you stress your fish for things like pH or things that are not really necessary, you can do otherwise. You don't have to stress your fish to regulate your pH. You can do what I do, increase the pH very slowly. If you do that, your fish will stress, and if you stress your fish once, you will not find any difference, twice, 3 times, and then after a while, they become so much stressed that they don't have much energy left. 1, 2, 3. And if there is not much energy left, then their defense against disease decrease. So you see, that's the bottle. So now we will wait. We will leave it for a few minutes, and we will read the results in a few minutes. But my guess is that the pH is slightly acidic. So if it's acidic, I have to increase it. So what I was saying is that, the fact that you can stress the fish, which people don't realize what they are doing when they stress the fish, but basically the stress builds up. And if you stress too much the fish, at the beginning you don't see any difference, but after a while the fish can get sick. They are so weak that they can get some disease such as fungus. So that's something we need to keep in mind when we take care of our aquaponics system. Okay, so we'll see the pH. I have the bottle on the side. Now what I will do, I will feed the fish. As you can see, the cascade is on there. And I have something to tell you. Something happened. I mean, I initiated something. You know, I had a crazy number of fish in this pond, and I was way over the comfortable limit of the ecosystem, so I had to really manage it properly. And obviously, when you have this number of fish, I had, I don't know, 150, no, maybe 130 fish, 120 fish into the pond. But it's not the numbers. The fact is that I had 30 plus kg of fish, probably 150 fish, yeah, if I count all the spaces. And I started with 400, right, when they were small, but now I sold a lot and I still had 150 plus. Well, it was way too many fish. I had 30 kilo, more than 30 kilo of biomass in the pond, and every day I was feeding the fish, and the fish are able to transform the food. You know, the fish I have here, if I feed them 900 grams of fish food, I produce 1 kilo of fish. In other words, they produce more fish than I give them fish food, which is something quite interesting, right? And that's something that I developed in the new trout training that I am doing at the moment. But the reason why is because the fish food we have here that I use, it's fish food that I use for aquaculture. It's extremely efficient. The fish I have are really good at transforming the fish food into fish flesh. But also, this fish food here is composed of only 14% moisture, so it's basically dry. While the fish, they are composed of 70% moisture. So when you feed them with this, they drink in the same time. And so that's why only 900 grams of this fish food is able to produce 1 kilo of fish flesh. So as I was saying, I had a lot of fish in this pond. I had, as I said, 30 plus kg. So I needed to decrease this biomass. Otherwise, with time, the bacteria couldn't keep up, especially in winter. So what I have done, I have sold 50 fish, which means that now the concentration of fish in this pond is way lower, which is good because if you have way too many fish at one point, they may start to stress, and they may, you know, as I just explained, the bacteria can't keep up, so the water quality may decrease, which is not what we aim for, because in aquaponics we want to prevent any disease, so we always want to offer the best condition to our fish. That's why I sold 50 fish. They were plate size, so now I have way less fish, probably twice less in terms of golden trout. I only sold the golden trout, so I had a bit less than 100 golden trout. I still have a bit, yeah, I have almost 50 golden trout, but then I have all the other species of fish. So I still have a fair few fish, but it's not the same as before. The good thing is that those fish that I have now, I can really push them now. I can feed them properly, and they will grow to a very nice size. So you can see there is still a fair number of fish in this pond. It's not like we don't have fish anymore. We still have plenty of fish, and now they will grow even quicker because they have more space and they have more access to food. I will feed them properly. So I'm happy with this. So you see, as I am feeding the trouts, my pH bottle is still reacting. So now it's been probably a few minutes, but we will leave it aside and we'll read the results when we are done feeding the fish. It's quite interesting. The people who bought the fish out of me, they were not going to eat them straight away. They wanted to grow them as well. And what they are doing, they are converting a swimming pool. But they don't have any, it's not an aquaponic system they have. They don't have any plants, they don't have any grow bed. So they just rely on the swimming pool filtration. It's not something I would really recommend. But the thing is, the volume they had, the volume of water they had was really, really big. If it was me, if I had a swimming pool, I would 100% grow fish inside. But of course, you need to modify the way the swimming pool is working, right? You don't want to work with chlorine at all. So I would modify the filtration. And for me, the best way to modify the filtration is to transform it into an aquaponics system. However, if you have a swimming pool, you need a very big grow bed to have a balanced ecosystem. But anyway, those guys, they took the 50 trout and they will put them in the swimming pool. I mean, now the fish are swimming there. And of course, there is no chlorine, so I guess everything is working well. But they should keep a very good eye on the parameters of the water, because 50 fish, you know, I had, I don't know, 12 kilo. It was probably 12 kilo of fish, 10 to 12 kilo. They need to be careful. They need to monitor the water in order to make sure that everything is working well. Okay, you see they will still eat a bit, but I see they slow a bit in terms of eating. As you can see, that's when I stopped feeding them. I could continue because they still eat, but they are not that excited anymore. So I prefer slowing down, because if I throw more food now, they will continue to grow, but they will make more fat. I like to have the fish fat, but not excess fat, right? So here, for me, it's a good indication that they had enough. I mean, they will continue to eat, as I say, but I stop here. So now let's read the pH. The pH is, you will tell me in the comments what you think the pH is. For me, when I read it, I don't know if you can see it properly in the camera, but I think you can. The color here, for me, it's the same as 6.6 on the left side, this one here, yeah? For me, that's 6.6. But tell me what you think. But if it's 6.6, you can see that I can increase the pH again. So I can add more soda carbonates or baking powder, yeah? So that's how I do, and I'm not gonna add a crazy quantity. I'm gonna add a very low quantity. Not very low, but a small quantity, maybe same as last time. Because again, I don't want to go from 6.6 to 7.6. I don't want to do this. It would be a little shock for the fish. I prefer to go gradually, 6.8, 7, yeah? I have plenty of time. I enjoy doing this, no problem. I have no issue if it goes to 7.6, right? The data 7.6 is good if you have 7.6 in your pond, because naturally the pH is always decreasing. So when you increase your pH, it's always good to add a bit more, but don't do it too quickly. Take your time to do it. Okay, so what I will do, I will clean this. I will show you as well, I have some new animals in the house. I don't want to say in the farm because we are living in the city and it's definitely not a farm. But I have a few other animals around, so I will show you. You see the watercress is going quite well. And here I got this Vietnamese mint here. Oh, here, sorry. Yeah. So the same as the one that is growing on the float. So what I will do at one point, I will cut this one, I will remove it because I don't want it to grow here. Because I have my watercress here. And if I leave it here, it may take over the watercress probably because it grows in height. So it has access to the sun, what the watercress below. If I leave it as is, the Vietnamese mint will overgrow and it will slow the watercress growth. I prefer to have a balanced system. I have plenty of Vietnamese mint here. I don't need to grow more. So I will remove this one later on and I will place it on the float. Let's have a look at the other animals we have. So as you know, I have chicken. And recently, 2 days ago, I went and I bought those two. And they are new, I really like them. But as you can imagine, they are chicken, and they never go together. When you add new chicken in a coop, it's always a drama. So what I do, I leave them here for a while, and because I work during the day, and during the weekend I will try to introduce them to the other chicken. But it's never easy to introduce new chicken. So what I will do now, I will feed those, because I don't have an automatic feeder. So I have to go and grab some food for them. So those new chickens, they don't eat much at all. It's winter, they are stressed. They are not very active, so they don't eat much. Hop. I just put a bit of food here. As you can see, they are happy. I prefer feeding them every day by hand, those ones, than putting them with the others. Otherwise, they will fight. If I leave them like that, they are okay. I don't think they will lay anything yet. They are probably very stressed. Yeah, there is no eggs, nothing. Here is the beehive. I just received it yesterday. Winter, it's cold. The sun is not red yet, so there is no activity. But let me know what you think. Is it something that you want to know about or not? Look at this one. This one is the first chicken I had. I mean, it's not the first I had, but it's the oldest I have here. And I don't cut her feather, so she's able to fly, but she's very smart. She knows that she can't fly on this side of the fence. She always stays here. But she wants some extra food, so, I work in a seafood company, the seafood business aside, and sometimes I bring some leftovers. So yesterday I did a cook-up on some calamari rings. So whatever is thrown away at work, I keep it aside and I bring it for the chicken. I really like it. And the morning she feels happy to let me know when she wants something, which I like. Actually, I will give some to the other chooks as well. And also let me know what you think of this. Here, of course, this thing is looking ugly, right? That's not what I would leave, but should I use those stones or what? I put the stones here to see if I have enough stones to do this area. Because that's the same thing as I did on the terrace with where the fish are. You see, I have those type of pavers here there. I could buy some that look a bit like this, probably, if I look very well, and I could buy some and put some here, or I could do here just an opus acertum. That's the same thing as I did near the fish. But I don't know what to do. I put the stones here to see if I had enough, and it seems that I would have enough, but I have to cut them in all different shapes because I don't want to square angles. It's really ugly. I want something very natural. Because I got all those plus those ones on the side, so I may have just enough to do this area. Personally, I would prefer to use those because I have them. I don't have to buy something else. I don't have to go to the shop and spend hours looking for the same type of stones as those ones. But yeah, I'm not sure. My partner, she probably prefer using the same as those. But for me, because it's another area, this is going to be more a barbecue section. You see with the wall. Well, here's the terrace that is open. So for me, this section here, there is no problem if it's a different soil, a different ground, a different floor. So I will be happy with those type of stones. But let me know what you think. I want to know what you think. What would you do? For me, you know, I don't want to spend more money than I have to. So if I have the stones, I would definitely be happy to use them, and also time. I hate going to the shop and trying to find the same stone matching. I hate doing this. So for me, the easiest thing to do is to work with the stones I have. But let me know what you think. Okay, Trout, would you like some of those? Yes or no? I think it's a yes. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, now I have to hurry up because I have to go to work, unfortunately. And by the way, thank you for all of you who accessed Easy Aquaponics. It's very cool. Let's see if we caught. Oh la 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 la, look at this. I don't know if you can see the quantity of slugs that we have here, but it's way too much. It's good because we remove them from the system, but it means that there are a lot of slugs at the moment. At least those type of traps, they are very efficient, and it's at the end of the day, it's free chicken food, right? The chicken they love because it's natural food. Look at them, they have a lot of food, right? They still have all those rings, but what about the slugs? You see, they prefer the slugs 1,000 times over anything. They really like it. Okay, guys, I wish you a lovely day, and I see you in the next video.